This chapter introduces you to the role of representatives and their fit and proper requirements. The FSP is responsible for the actions of representatives, and key individuals are responsible to oversee and manage the representatives, including their fitness and propriety. The FAYS Act defines a representative as follows. An important component of the definition is the exercise of judgment. The moment a person exercises judgment in relation to a client and product or service, the service comes under the ambit of financial service, thereby bringing it into the FAYS Act. The representative is a person who renders a financial service to a client on behalf of the provider by virtue of an employment contract with the provider or by virtue of a mandate with the provider. A representative is not a person who provides clerical, technical, administrative, legal, accounting or related service if that service requires no judgment or does not specifically influence or lead a client towards a financial product transaction when the client merely inquires about the product or service, or it is just factual, objective information in relation to the description of a financial product. Once a person exercises judgment and provides a recommendation, opinion, or guidance in respect of a financial service to a client regarding a financial product, that person is a representative. The representative does not act for himself but for the FSP, even in the case of a sole proprietor FSP. The whole business may consist of only one person, but the person fulfills various roles and in different legal and regulatory persona. Let's look at the responsibilities of representatives. A representative gives advice and or provides an intermediary service to the clients of an FSP. A representative must confirm to clients and certified by the FSP that he has an employment or mandate agreement with the FSP to represent the FSP and that the FSP accepts responsibilities for the activities of the representative performed in terms of the agreement. If a representative was debarred, he can only operate as a representative again if the procedures for reappointment of debarred representatives have been followed. A representative must be fit and proper as required by the Act. A representative appointed in the period 30 September 2004 to 31st of December 2009 may work under supervision whilst obtaining the experience requirements. Representatives appointed after the 1st of January 2010 have to work under supervision whilst getting the required qualifications and or completing the regulatory examinations. A representative must comply with the FAYS Act and other relevant laws which apply to the conduct of business. If a representative also acts as a key individual, it follows that the representative will also have those responsibilities, in addition to the representative responsibilities. The FAYS Registrar does not issue licenses to representatives, nor does the Registrar approve representatives. The FSP appoints representatives and carries all the responsibilities in relation to ensuring that the representatives are fit and proper and comply with legislation and the FAYS subordinate legislation. The FAYS Registrar licenses an FSP, subject to all the requirements in the FAYS Act. Once approved, an FSP is authorized or licensed to carry on business as a licensed authorized FSP. Representatives are not authorized or licensed. If they meet all the requirements, they appear on the representative register, which means that they act for a specific FSP in a specific capacity. Representatives are appointed by the FSP, either through contract of employment or through another mandate agreement. Representatives act on behalf of the FSP, and the FSP is responsible for the actions of the representative insofar as the representative provides a financial service in respect of FAYS products. As such, the FSP must maintain a register of all representatives and key individuals employed or mandated by the FSP. The register is updated by the FSP and provided to the FAYS Registrar, who needs to provide updates to the FSP within 15 days. Part of the management and oversight duties of a key individual within the FSP is to oversee and manage all aspects relating to representatives. The fit and proper requirements for honesty and integrity are the same for both representatives and key individuals. The main difference between the fit and proper requirements for these two role players comes in with the required competence and CPD. The FSP appoints or mandates a representative to act for and on behalf of the FSP. This means that the FSP is responsible, in terms of the Act, to ensure that the appointed, mandated representative meets all the Act requirements, including fit and proper. The date of first appointment indicates the type of qualification and experience needed in the various categories. The date of first appointment means the date on which a person was first deployed in a phased role. It does not mean the date on which they started to work in the current organization. Here are the fit and proper requirements of a representative. The requirements in terms of honesty and integrity are the same for key individuals and representatives. The FSP, in appointing or mandating a representative, may refer to any information it has or anything that is brought to its attention relating to the approval of the representative. The phase registrar has similar powers, even though the FSP does not approve or appoint a representative. The registrar may still use information it has to question the approval of a representative or even to debar a representative. As with key individuals, the honesty and integrity requirement is ongoing, and the FSP must ensure that the representatives appointed and mandated to provide financial service remain qualified in terms of these personal attributes. To achieve this, the representative must declare to the FSP on a regular basis if there is any change in his personal situation that affects his status negatively. If the FSP becomes aware of a change in the circumstances of the rep that affects his honesty and integrity adversely, the FSP is obliged to debar the representative. This means that the FSP must prevent the rep from rendering any financial service by withdrawing any authority to act on its behalf. In addition, the FSP must remove the name of the representative from the register, and it must advise the regulator and also inform the regulator what action it has taken. The following table summarizes factors that may exclude a person from approval as a representative. The competency requirements for representatives are made up of the following: minimum experience requirements, relevant qualification requirements, the successful completion of relevant regulatory examinations, and ongoing compliance with continuous professional development requirements. The experience required for a representative must be practical, hands-on experience. This means that the representative must have provided advice, rendered intermediary services in respect of the products and services in the subcategories for which he seeks appointment. There are general experience requirements and specific experience requirements for reps. The main differentiating factor between the general experience requirements applicable to all representatives and the specific requirements lies in the nature of the products in the different categories and the length of experience gained in the preceding 5-year period. Reps may get the experience whilst providing financial services under supervision and may therefore be exempted from compliance with the requirements when appointed. The specific experience requirements in respect of each subcategory are published in the subordinate legislation and then show the number of months, years in a table format required for each subcategory where applicable. The general experience requirements apply to all representatives in all the categories. The representative must, on the date of appointment, meet the minimum experience required in the different subcategories. It must be practical experience gained in the rendering of financial services in the different categories and subcategories concerned, provided that the experience involved the active and ongoing gaining of knowledge, skills and expertise required in terms of the Act, was obtained through active involvement in providing financial services, and could have been gained whilst working under supervision for the minimum experience period, could have been gained within or outside the borders of South Africa, could have been gained in intermittent periods not more than 5 years prior to the application, and includes experience gained prior to the implementation of the Act. The dates relating to the experience must be clearly stated. It could have been gained simultaneously in multiple subcategories, provided that the proof of such experience can be submitted. Here are the specific requirements for representatives in each category. Representatives, like key individuals, must also meet qualification criteria in order to be fit and proper, and they must therefore have appropriate qualifications. We discussed the concepts of qualifying criteria and the types of qualifications in Chapter 2 when we looked at the qualification criteria for key individuals. The same principles apply to representatives. The FAIS Registrar publishes a list of recognized qualifications for each category and subcategory. When a representative is responsible for more than one category or subcategory, he needs to have a qualification that meets the most onerous requirements. There is no need to have a qualification for each category and subcategory. In order to establish which qualifications are recognized as appropriate for representatives, the qualifications must meet the qualifying criteria, also set by the registrar and published in the subordinate legislation. The qualifying criteria serves two purposes. It is used to evaluate the content of the qualifications and set the standards for the regulatory examinations. To meet the fit and proper requirements in terms of competence, representatives have to complete the relevant first and second levels of the regulatory examinations within the prescribed dates. Only when a qualification meets all the qualifying criteria will a person be exempted from the applicable product-related regulatory examination, RE2. All representatives will be required to complete the regulatory examination level 1 applicable to representatives. Representatives will also have to complete CPD programs. The FSB must approve CPD activities and/or programs. Examples of verifiable CPD programs and/or activities include the following: courses, conferences and seminars, studies leading to informal assessments, example additional qualification, which may be done through private study, distance learning or attendance at formal courses, workshops or self-structured study programs including web-based, computer-based or paper-based delivery that assess knowledge. The FAIS Act requires that every FSB must have and maintain a register with information about the appointed representatives, and where the representatives have key individuals, the information of those key individuals must also appear on the register. The purpose of the register is to provide a record of all the representatives of an FSB, which shows personal information, capacity of the representative, compliance with fit and proper requirements, and the applicable categories and subcategories the representative is appointed for or key individual is approved for. The register is to enable the registrar to maintain a central register with all the information gathered from the FSB registers, and to calculate the levies or fees payable by the FSB in respect of each representative and key individual. Here is the information required for the register of representatives. The FSB must ensure that the register is constantly updated, adding and removing representatives and key individuals. The register must be sent to the registrar every 15 days after changes, either in hard copy format or electronically. Changes in the circumstances of representatives or key individuals must be recorded in the register. Changes may include the following: key individuals must ensure that the FSB recruits and appoints representatives who meet the fit and proper requirements. When an FSB wants to appoint a representative, the necessary checks must be done and documentation obtained to ensure that the prospective representative meets all the requirements. The following processes and procedures may be considered to ensure that adequate recruitment and appointment procedures are in place when appointing representatives. Summary of this chapter. This chapter introduced you to the fit and proper requirements for representatives. There is similarity between the requirements for key individuals and representatives. It is the key individual's duty to ensure that representatives meet the fit and proper requirements. Representatives render a financial service that consists of either advice or intermediary service or a combination of both. The FAIS Registrar does not issue licenses to representatives, nor does the Registrar approve representatives. The FSP appoints representatives and carries all the responsibilities in relation to ensuring that reps are fit and proper and comply with the legislation. The representative register must be updated every 15 days after changes and should contain all the required information about reps working under a specific FSP